Hello there and welcome back to Spar&Brawl. It has been just over a month since Armenia and Azerbaijan struck a deal to end the conflict in the contested Nagorno-Karabakh region. Well, there have been some developments in the past week, including some flare-ups and a state visit by Turkish President Erdogan to Azerbaijan, Baku. So Sam is going to share the latest with us. What's been going on, Sam?
Yeah, quite a lot actually, interestingly, because we thought this is probably something that is largely finished. But Erdogan basically, as it was described by many foreign reporters, took a victory lap of Azerbaijan after their quite decisive win against the Armenian forces, with the significant, at least political support of Turkey. So it was quite a victory lap, and it was, he described it as a watershed moment in Caucasus history, in southern Caucasus history. He described it as so. It was and there was a military parade for when he visited. So he was watching over Azerbaijani military parade with President Aliyev as well. That was the political marketing aspect of it, I suppose. More importantly, though, in the interviews with reporters, both President Aliyev and President Erdogan, they both announced that there may be a six-country forum, something like that may be established. In countries that would be part of that would include Azerbaijan, Turkey, Iran, Georgia, Russia, and Armenia. Interestingly, Erdogan said that Armenia would be the biggest winner of such a establishment of such a forum. We would open our borders because Armenia has borders with Turkey, but the borders are, most of the times they're closed because of the very bad political relationship the two countries have. So Erdogan was very much, I don't know if this was a green light or if it was more of a just trying to show himself as a gracious winner. He was saying that, it would be very, very beneficial to the Armenians if they join this six-country forum. And he also said that he has spoken to President Putin, and he's also very positive and supportive of such a regime. But I have not, as of yet, read any reports of Russia confirming this, or or even Iran confirming this. So I don't know how, because Erdogan has with the peacekeepers, and in the beginning, Turkey announced that there will be Turkish peacekeepers in the disputed areas that Armenia is handing over, the corridors, the Lachin corridor, that Russian peacekeepers would be watching over. But I think in the end, Russia did not allow that. There are only, I believe, Turkish observers within Azerbaijani territory. So this is just something he announced. It's not clear how official it is, how real it is. But in a way, it's a good thing, though. A six-country forum of all these countries that are there, it could be a good thing, could lead to more economic cooperations, more prosperity for all, hopefully. And to be fair, Azerbaijani forces so far have acted with they have respected international law. There are no reports of, religious or ethnic-based massacres or anything like that. So, in a way, things seem to be improving somewhat, I suppose.
Okay, that's very interesting. And if you like the content so far, make sure to like and subscribe. But Sam, so this six-country forum that you're talking about, how would this relate to the Minsk group, or is that group being sidelined more now?
I think that's the whole point, I would assume, of this. Not to maybe I suppose not to sideline Minsk group, or just that, mostly to sideline France or European powers and America. And I believe in one of his speeches while Erdogan was in Baku, he again criticized Macron and France for something intervening or something like that. So yeah, I think it is aimed at sidelining European and American powers in the region, uh, especially within probably Azerbaijan, which is America seems to have significant financial interest there. Uh, Minsk Group is just that's just the, I guess, subcategory of the Western influence or whatever. Yeah, and nobody again, this has not been confirmed by Russia or Iran yet, or anything official announced about it. Who knows? Maybe it's just going to be a forum they meet once a year and nothing happens, like many other forums that exist in Asia. But maybe something good can come of it as well. Who knows?
Okay, and any other recent developments that you think our viewers should know about?
Sure, sure. Yeah, there was a interesting flare-up of the heightening of tensions between Iran and Turkey when Erdogan was there. I believe this was during the military parade. There is a famous Azerbaijani song. It's a poem, but usually performed as a song, commonly on the streets. It's a very popular folk song. It's the poem is about the fact that um, these countries that are now known as Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Georgia were used to be part of Iran about 200 years ago. There was a war with the Russian Empire, and the Russian Empire uh, defeated Iran. I mean, in a significant way, and Iran had to cede all these lands to Russia. And this song is about the fact that uh, it's refers to the river that now separates Iran from Azerbaijan and I believe Armenia, but back in the days used to separate Iran from uh, Russian Empire. It refers to that river Aras or Araz, if I'm not mistaken, in some Azeri pronunciations, and it says that yeah, with iron and a stone, they are separating this river. They are separating people who speak the same language, people who are the same, but they're separated by a stone and steel, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it's a very sorrowful song about the separation of these lands from their motherland. And Erdogan read that poem. It's not clear how intentional even was this. I don't think he meant to offend Iranians, but Iranians took offense. I'm not even, as an Iranian, I'm not clear what did Iranians took offense to. But Zarif, Iranian foreign minister, tweeted that yeah, nobody should threaten anybody's sovereignty, which is very odd because it seems he seemed to have suggested that Turkey was undermining sovereignty of Azerbaijan. But when he was reading the poem, Aliyev was sitting there and shaking his head. So I really don't understand. Uh, but Iranians took offense for some reason, and he made another tweet and he said, "Oh, they called in the Turkish ambassador. Foreign minister had a meeting with the Turkish ambassador, and following that, he tweeted that, yeah, I made it clear that the age of imperialism and taking over lands is over." Which is, again, he wasn't even saying that. This is a song referring to a sorrowful, how sorrowful it is that these lands are being, you know, separated from their homeland. And then Turkey got upset as well, and they called in the Iranian ambassador to have a meeting with the foreign minister. So, and that's as far as we get in the story. I'm not clear what happened there or why Iranians got upset. I guess maybe they feel like he may have, because this is there's one of the points of tension between Iran and Turkey has always been that Turkey, for example, famous poet Rumi, Maulana in Persian or Turkish, but Rumi in English. He's sometimes Turkish authorities describe him as a Turkic poet. He was ethnically Persian and he wrote most of his poetry in Persian. So, I mean, he lived in a time. I mean, the government was Turkic, but the population was Persian and Greek, so I don't. It's not really that important to me personally. But maybe like people felt offended because he was sort of maybe implying that these lands belong to Turkey, not Iran, or something. Maybe that's something that made Iranians got they you know they felt offended by, because newspapers also went at him and said he should apologize and don't it's a famous Iranian idiom, don't play with the tail of the lion. They said, refer lion in this case being Iran, um, very quiet lion recently. So, but it's a lion apparently. But yeah, that was a quite interesting development. But I think, to be honest, Iranian government, especially the current government, really they have been extremely ineffective in foreign policy, and they pretty much stayed out of this war completely. They didn't do anything significant. They tried to do something apparently, but they failed. So I think it was more they were trying to do something to show themselves to the Iranian public that, yeah, we are still, we are something. That's that's all that the only rational explanations that comes to my mind. But maybe somebody can explain to us in a better way what was so offensive about the poem, because I'm not quite clear about that. And I did see a couple of videos by interviews with quite famous historians like Mr. Atabaki in BBC. So yeah, I couldn't find the proper explanation. So I look forward to if anybody has interesting explanation.
Okay, yeah, very interesting. I certainly don't have one, but okay, any last final thoughts on Armenia, Azerbaijan, and the whole
Oh,
Nagorno-Karabakh conflict?
nothing much. Interestingly, though, Russian relations with Armenia seem to be improving, especially Putin's relationship with Pashinyan, which was described as extremely negative before the war. Now, in the forums, in one of the post-Soviet forums that Russia has with some post-Soviet countries, he defended him, and he was very much saying that he should Armenian people should support him and stuff. And he gave a speech at the Kremlin, Putin, I believe last week or something, in which he was somewhat critical of Pashinyan and saying that he should have signed the deal earlier or something like that. And interestingly, when Russian government released the official transcript of the interview or a speech that Putin gave, that part was redacted, which signify it kind of it seems to imply that he may have thought he may have gone too far in criticizing Pashinyan, and he's been a bit slightly more supportive of him, because right now his position within Armenia is somewhat shaky, to say the least, because he's extremely unpopular because of the deal made with Azerbaijan. So we'll see. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing more substantial, really.
Okay, I just have a final question for you. So now that the ceasefire and the deal seems to be holding up, more or less, it's been over a month. So would you still say that Nagorno-Karabakh is a contested region? Because I mean, now I guess it still is officially recognized as part of Azerbaijan. The conflict that lasted 2 to 3 months is over. But yeah, so what's the status of the region now, you would say?
No, I would say Nagorno-Karabakh is still definitely contested region, because Nagorno-Karabakh has not been, I mean, about 20%, if I'm not mistaken, of the land has been taken over by Azerbaijani forces, but Nagorno-Karabakh itself remains with a very tiny corridor to Armenia. What has been handed over completely are the regions surrounding Nagorno-Karabakh, that the 7 region that Armenia won over during the war in 1990s. But at the same time, apparently majority of Armenian people are leaving Nagorno-Karabakh, saying there is no more future there is no more life there, because as soon as all the regions are handed over, and like in 2 years or 5 years, whenever the Russian troops leave, Azeri forces gonna attack us. So I guess it very much depends on during the next 5 years, until the deadline, till the Russian forces leave. Until then, we'll find out what's going to happen for the future of Nagorno-Karabakh. But I would say, yeah, it's still a disputed region, of course, yeah, technically.